let's get into it. So we're going to be given some list of numbers, and we want to one, pair them up by smallest to the second smallest in like the list or whatever, right? The smallest to smallest. And then we want to figure out how far apart every single one of those are. And then we just return like all of like how far apart things are. Now, if you don't know who I am Raymond Jones. I've solved like 1,200 Leetcode problems and currently top 3%. So I'm going to be trying to solve these problems every day. And we'll start with this one. So when we want to, so there's two steps to this problem, right? So we do want to pair them up from the smallest, and then we do want to go through every single one. Now, what does that look like? Is that like if we have something like 1, 2, 3, right? And we have something like 5, 6, 7. Well, there is some gap between these two lists. So we take 2 pointers, right? Or we just iterate through on 1 pointer, but we extract this value, and then do a comparison, a mathematical comparison. And this is based off of like the absolute value. If you don't know what that is, right? It's a very common thing in math and in programming occasionally, where we want to get the difference of something. And if 1 is less than 5, okay, sure, we can take that. But what if it's like 5 and 1, right? Well, we don't want -4 added to our score, right? The difference is actually 4. And so we can just kill negatives by just placing it into like an absolute value. So we'll be taking the absolute value, comparing the two numbers, and taking the absolute value of number 1 and number 2. Now that's going to, and we'll just continue moving our pointer along and iterating through the list. And that solves like the second part. The other part is that this isn't actually sorted. And so we do want to sort all the values that are in here. And that would look like calling like a sort function like within your library. Now, obviously you could implement sorting yourself, but that's like just overkill for this problem. When we have like method code for this looks like, we do have to get the input. It is given to us as a txt file. And then we just initialize our two lists and start storing them into the lists. And so what we'll do is we'll one call input to gather like line by line of the list. And then we'll just continue going line by line, iterating through. We'll split to remove the spaces, and then we will add into the respective lists. And then we will, I have this try catch here. You don't need it. Honestly, you could just add an empty space, I think, at the end and kind of, do an if statement off that. But you could just do try an exception and just break out if that happens. Then we have sorted list, or when we sort the lists, both of them, and then just go through and iterate through doing this absolute value idea that I had mentioned earlier. So this is a very nice like starting problem to kind of go through, because you've got several things happening here, right? One, we've got file input. How do you actually get the input of a file, of a txt file? Then we've got like, how do you split the spaces? How do you remove the spaces out of that file? How do you add numbers like into a list? And then how do you actually properly break out when you reach the end? How do you sort things in your programming language that you chose? And how do you add, how do you iterate through a list, like in the language that you're doing? So you can really learn a lot about, just your programming language, and that's a good problem. So we'll go into part 2. Going into part 2, we've got the same idea. We've got like some list of numbers. We want to perform some operations on them. And for this, we've got like a mathematical operation. So we do want to do, it appears in the right list 3 number of times. So the similarity score is 3, right? So the number 3 appears in the right list. So we're counting the frequency. How many times does 4 appear in the right list? Okay, multiply it. It appears once. Okay, multiply it, right? It's only there once. And then we'll add up all of these scores to the end to get them. And if it's 0, appears 0 times, then the score is 0. So let's go into the code. So going into the code for this, you'll notice it looks exactly like the code I wrote last time, except we're just going to not be sorting the list. Doesn't matter. We only care about the frequencies and where it is in the second list. Now Python has a counter that you can use for counting frequencies, which is really, really useful. Makes the code a bit cleaner. And then we can go through, count them all for the second list, and then just add values into our nums, iterate through every value in the first list, and then check, does it exist in like that frequency map that we created? And that frequency map is going to look something like, like, oh, how many times does 3 happen? Okay, it happens twice. How many times does 4 happen? Oh, it happens like this many times. And if the value isn't inside the list, it will just return like 0. So it'll say like 0. And that is Advent of Code for 2024. This is my solution to it, and my kind of explanation. So again, uses part two uses the exact same thing, so we're just gonna be using some kind of hash map to store count frequencies. And yeah, that is that. Kind of bonus stuff that you could do if you don't want to use a counter is that you could just probably sort and use like binary search to if for whatever reason you don't want to like count space, you could just sort the second list and start using binary search every single time to find it and log in time. But again, not necessary. But it is like an extension that you could do for this problem, is just kind of force people to use binary search. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. For the end of this video, you can see me like solving this like live if that's something you're interested in. Okay, let's try to solve this Advent of Code problem live. And I'm not going to bother reading all this stuff. Let's see here. Because I know the first one's usually pretty easy. And so you're given two lists side by side, and they aren't very similar. You want to help them reconcile, pair the numbers and measure how far apart they are, pair smallest number in the left list with the smallest in the right, and so on. Within each pair, figure out how apart the two numbers are. You'll need to add up all of those distances and then return them, I guess. Find the total distance. Add up all the distance between the pairs you found. Okay, so we need to sort them. Add all these values up, then sort them. And it's off the left and the right, so that's fine. It's fine. And the only issue with this is that let's see, part 1. Fine. And then only problem is I don't know how to do the input for this. Okay, also this thing isn't even like visible. Okay. Yeah, I can't even. This thing is like not good. There's like a black screen right here, which is not like cool at all. Let me just, I guess, make this window a bit smaller, and maybe we can try to get something going here. Okay, so then go here and then do input.txt, and then what we can do is just add that input. So like this one, just like that. And only issue, okay, no, I guess it's one space. I guess, see what happens. Cool. And every line is gonna have something, so it'll be like it'll be like input or like lists. No, hold on. Okay, first list, second list is equal to input, but the input is gonna have a length, so that's actually weird. That's actually weird. Okay, let's just try pairs equals input dot split, and then while pairs first list is equal to this, second list is equal to this, and then while pairs first list dot append pairs at 0, the second list is pairs at 1, and then we keep doing it. Then we find the next one that's there, and then keep going, and then only problem though is that these aren't integers. So we must convert them into ints in order to sort them. And then we can do first list dot sort, second list dot sort. I don't even need to have like two lists. Actually, we probably do. So sort them, and then we'll just go through them again. And so we'll say like for I in range in, and like in being like the link for the first list. Then we'll do first list dot append, or not that, but answer. Answer is 0. Answer is equal to first list at I minus second list at I. And this will be an absolute value in case one is bigger than the other. And then we can just return answer. Now we would return answer normally if this was a function. It's not a function though. And then we'll just print it. Just like that. And we can run it. Invalid int for base 10 empty. Okay. While pairs. Pairs. I thought this would work. Maybe not. So we do get empty ones. 3, 4. 3 empty, empty 4. 3 empty, empty 4. Yeah, no, I think it's because of this. Yeah, see, it's this thing. There's spaces between them. Empty, empty. How do I pick those up? They have this input like kind of wonky, which is okay. Like I could just roll through or just assume that like it will be like 2 indices down the line. We could probably do that. Just assume it's 2 indices down the line. So 3 more. Like that. And then end of file when reading a line. How do I fix that? Do I need to... I thought it was okay to have an end of line. I thought it was completely okay. Okay, wait, hold on. Now it's different. Oh, because of the space thing? Because Ugh, wow, okay, that's crazy. Apparently I don't know Python. We're still getting the end of file line. I don't know this error. I thought you could just do while. And I don't know how to check if the next one actually has something readable. And I also don't know what the length of this is. Let's see here. Could look it up. Could look it up. Let's see what's happening. Or how, not, I know what's happening, but how can I prevent this? Apparently you're supposed to use stdn, or you could also use like a try and catch. Oh god, I mean, might as well maybe just do a try catch, try, and then accept, and a file error, maybe just break. we get 11. Cool. Nice. So we can just handle that error. And then actually we'll be using this for sure, but so we get 11 here. And total distance is 11. So what's the distance between your lists? This will be easy. Now, I guess you just save them. Wait, how do you do that? How do you save it? Am I crazy? Save page as. Get your puzzle. Oh, it just won't let me click. My mouse isn't letting me click. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can't click. Okay. The page isn't working. All right, apparently I need to refresh my screen. This like thing is like black. I don't know why. And that should fix it. And then I'll be back to run this on the actual output. Okay, here we are back, and I can now copy these. So what we're gonna do, just go through here and copy all these problems. And I like that that hit my thing. And so I also, can I just click it and Control C, Control A? Yeah, okay, just Control A. And then we'll go over to here, pop here, delete, oop, not delete that. Go here and then input, and then delete that, pop this in, and save it, then do a R here. That'll be fun. Fine. Oh, also, you know, I could have fixed this error by just adding a blank at the end and then just checking if it's blank, but try catch, I guess, is fine. Run it and we get the solution. So now we can go back and then see what part 2 is. And you couldn't see me actually getting the screen actually. Oh, well, which kind of sucks, but that's not what I was trying to do with that one. Anyways, I just submitted it and it worked for this. So the answer was right. And then it took me to like the little star page, and not this one though, but can I see it again? Yeah, here it is. This is the page. Okay. So I'm gonna just read through this again. Usually it's the same problem, slightly different. And we need to do similarity score, I guess, and then it's gonna be the left list appears in the right list 3 times. Okay, so we need to check how many times the number, the frequency that it appears. If it appears 0, then we don't increase it, because 2 is not in the right list at all. Okay, so this is fine. This is fine. Just do a little bit slightly of a thing, same thing. Actually, we might not need to sort it now. I don't know if we need to sort it. How often numbers in the left list appears? Yeah, I don't think we have to sort it anymore. Okay. So then we'll do is go here, and then do this. Go up to here, delete that, and then we'll pass in this list, sample list. Go here, and then instead we'll still break them, still split them, but instead of sorting, we'll have a counter. So what we can do is go here and do like from collections, import counter, and then go down and then say like frequency. And I want to see how many times values are here. So frequency of counter second list is going to really be here. And then we're just going to go through every number in the first list. And for every number in the first list, we're going to multiply it. No absolute values, no frequencies, but just multiply it by the frequency of like the number in the second list. And then it'll be like number frequency at first list at I. I mean, hold on. First list at I, like that. just like that, and then we can do like number times its frequency. Just like that. If it's 0, then it's 0, but we get 31. We get 31 here, so this should be fine. Then we just click it, add it. And again, I don't even think these need to be sorted, like at all. It's not going to affect it because we're doing a mathematical operation. What we can do is go here, delete, paste, delete, and then delete, and run. So we get a very nice answer. And just paste that over. Cool. So yeah, 1 star away from gold star finding it. You've completed day 1. So there we go. That is that. Pretty easy hash map problem and then a sorting problem.